Micro and macroeconomic policies must support future economic growth of member countries of the Oecs, said Prime Minister Alain Chastanet at the end of a meeting of the ECCU Monetary Council held at the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. Responding to SKN Newsline about the future growth potential for Oecs member countries, Prime Minister Chastanet said there were limited options and it was necessary to gain more out of existing industries
tourism,
while pursuing new avenues.
Offshore financial services, agro-processing, and now the new orange industry, of the creative industry. All are sectors which we believe that we can excel at and that we have the resources to be able to be competitive on a global basis. And what we must make sure is both our micro policies and macro policies are there to be able to support those particular sectors. I'm very encouraged that recently the CTO has made a huge amendment in going back to becoming a research and a statistical entity, because I think that given the importance of that industry in this region, that we are still looking at historical numbers rather than where we potentially can go. So if we look at a country like Aruba, which has a population of 110,000 people, yet it has a GDP of $3.5 billion, and primarily all of that is in the area of tourism. And when you look at the total numbers that we produce out of this region, particularly to the US, Canada, and the UK, there is a tremendous amount of opportunity for growth that we can have. But it certainly requires the requisite macro policy to support that. And for many years, the macro policy that has been in place in many of our countries, and certainly by the regional institutions, not the ECCB, have not been complementary to the growth of the sector. So I would again say to you, tourism also offers us the opportunity of increasing airlift, increasing capacity within our countries, and creates now a platform for financial services and also the orange economy. I don't know.
Speaking at a press conference of the Monetary Council, Dominica's Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit expressed the view that productivity and other issues also impact the sub-region.
I think also we have to look at the issue of our productivity in the region, and both in the public and private sector. Are we getting sufficiently in return for the amount we spend? And we also have to look at human resource development and the training of our people. Are we training people to align with our national priorities or regional priorities? Or are people just going out there to acquire degrees that, one, may not be able to find them a job, and secondly, that may not be necessary for our current developmental thrust. So I think these things we need to look at going forward. And I also think from a regional standpoint, I mean, we have some cooperation taking place, functional cooperation, etc. But we need to look at what are some of the things we can share in terms of doing things together. So is there something that we're all doing that we can consolidate into one country and do it on our behalf if each of us pitching in to make it happen? Because we have to look at the issue of access to credit and the impact of climate change on our region, the cost of reconstruction, and the potential of these things having an impact on your fiscal space and your debt burden.
The Oecs Prime Minister strongly believed that the multi-pronged approach remains a practical means to achieve economic growth in the coming years. Glenn Barth for SKN Newsline.